This video is sponsored by Bityard. With over 400 cryptos to trade on their spot, perpetual coin futures, USDT futures, with leverage of 1x to up to 125x, you can trade foreign exchange, commodities like gold, silver and oil, and traditional markets like Nasdaq, all with some of the lowest fees available on any trading platform. You can use their copy trader to copy other traders with better performance than you, or you can become a copy trader yourself and earn a few extra percent from the people that follow you. Plus you got 9 out of 10 stars from the Coin Bureau guy. Bityard! Hello everybody, welcome back. So hopefully this video I'm going to make today is going to be slightly different, rather than predicting price action from the next 57 seconds in the future or whatever. We're going to look at the market cycle itself, right? Because there's a lot of confusion I've seen on my comments and in my DMs and my Telegram, which you should join, by the way. You should join that. It's definitely something you should join. But it's about the 4-year market cycle and the difference between the halving event itself and the cycle peaks and lows, right? So cycle tops and bottoms and halving events. So I would say that there's no coincidence that the halvings take place every 4 years and that the cycle itself takes 4 years from bottom to top and back down to bottom again. Don't really think that that's a coincidence. I think that that's heavily correlated, and the reason for that is that every time there's a halving event, miners get half the amount of rewards, so that should be ingrained value into the amount of Bitcoin, or what a Bitcoin is worth, right? So let's just accept that that's no coincidence. But it's not as easy as just saying let's just buy the halving and then we'll ride it up to the. No, that's not how it works. If we can have a look at this, we can see that there's a cycle market top and a cycle market bottom. Cycle market top and a cycle market bottom. A cycle market top and a undisclosed, yet to be determined cycle market bottom. But the thing to recognize is that in between the halvings, the top and the bottom come in right in the middle. In between the halvings, the top and the bottom come in the middle. In between the halvings, the top and the bottom somewhere will come somewhere in the middle. And what ends up happening is that, just like we see, and people are becoming more aware of this now, markets price events in. This is why I'm favoring the everything bounce, right? I'm trying to price things into the market, given by looking at oil and Dixie and food prices to feed inflation, bring it up or down, which should add a bit of confidence into the market. That's something completely different. But if we're thinking about Bitcoin itself as a separate entity, purely driven by its chart and the halvings itself, then yeah, what we end up seeing is that the market prices in the halving leading up to the halving. This is what markets do, right? And so the bubble pops take place, the lows form, and then what we see is, after the low, a period of accumulation, and then we lead into the halving, where we dropped off on this one. Same over here, we popped, and we hit our lows, we accumulated, we ran up very high this time, to be honest with you, and then consolidated, and then ran back up into the halving, where we had a little drop off and then finished off the market cycle top. So markets price things in, Bitcoin prices things in. Bitcoin will likely price in the halving again, as it has done these last 2 times. It did it over here, obviously, priced in. There's your drop, pricing in the halving. So the uptrend begins before the halving. Most likely will begin up to a year in advance of the halving. So the halving here is what, May 2024. The chances of us leading into that from Q4, finding a bottom in Q4 this year, or maybe even early Q3, and then rallying into the halving is quite likely, because that's how it's happened in the past. That's how it's likely to happen again. So hopefully this just makes sense to you. It is quite simple. All you need to think about is that the halving doesn't determine the low. The halving determines probably half the way leading into the cycle peak after the halving. The half of the uptrend, or a good portion of it, has taken place already leading into that halving, right? This is just how Bitcoin works. And so if we assume that that's going to be the case, let's just say we dance around here, we drop off or wherever, and we find ourselves a bottom, wherever that might be, we will probably, give or take, lead into the halving again in 2024. That's how it works. So there's a difference between tops, bottoms and halvings. Tops, bottoms and halvings do not match, but what does match is a 4-year period between halvings and a 4-year period from top to top, or from bottom to bottom. And now all we're thinking about is, right, let's just wait for the bottom to be in. If you really wanted to be safe in buying some Bitcoin, if you don't like exposing yourself to the volatile nature of it, if you want to be relatively safe in your entry point, then you would try and navigate your way to the market cycle bottom, which is most likely going to be between September and maybe December this year. Again, you know, the halvings, you know, they're not neat. Like I say, it's all to do with blocks crunched on the network. You know, they're not exactly 4 years apart, because that's not how it works. They do fluctuate, and you know, some are smaller, some are shorter, some are longer, but generally they do appear to be getting longer apart. And so we would favour the fourth quarter this year for the low to be put in. Now, obviously, we do need to think about other things as well outside of this, because we know that how institutional Bitcoin has become, yeah, how absorbed it is to traditional markets. But outside of that, focusing only on and just on the market cycle itself and the halvings itself, it would suggest that rather than waiting to the end of this, you know, to get into the next halving, where you can buy into the halving or shortly after that and get a decent trade out of it, you would have probably missed out on the absolute low. And that's no problem. Like I say, if you just wanted to make a few 100%, that's fine. You wait for the halving, you wait for the sell-off, and then you buy that. But if you really wanted to make the big moves, or make the most of the overall market, which would include all altcoins and everything, then yeah, we wait for the bottom to be formed roughly in between the two halvings, cycle top, cycle bottom, wherever that might be. So let's not panic and look at, oh my god, he said it was 13,000. That's what I'm saying. We're just thinking about time now. We're not thinking about price. Simply just time and behavior and confluence between halving events, cycle tops and cycle bottoms. So hopefully that made sense. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.